Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media.
Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to the small town of Tatlayoko Lake and the agricultural area around it in central British Columbia, Canada. The elevation in the valley bottom is about 3,000 feet, and the peaks around climb to around 9,000 feet high. The climate here is a continental climate, which is characterized by dramatic seasonal changes. Each season here is pronounced, with long, cold, snowy winters and warm, dry, short summers. The steep hillsides are adorned with resilient stands of subalpine fir, Douglas fir, and lodgepole pine, with pine grass, prickly rose, and Canada buffalo berry, creating moderately dense ground cover and seasonal food sources. The Tatlayoko Valley has a seasonal salmon run that provides important nutrients to many plants and animals in the area. The nitrogen and other nutrients deposited by the dead salmon support a healthy habitat for mule deer, moose, as well as mountain goats and California bighorn sheep on the ridges. The bushes rustle with beautiful songbirds, and waterfowl bob along most bodies of water. With abundant game animals, predators are numerous and include bobcats, Canadian lynx, coyotes, gray wolves, cougars, as well as black bears and grizzly bears. This broad ecosystem is vibrant, and human guests enter a dangerous place at their own peril. An interesting bit of information about black bears in British Columbia is in order to understand the events that surround this episode. Although the area has a seasonal salmon run and abundant berries and other food sources, black bears are not the apex of the food chain here. They do feed on salmon when they're not chased away by grizzly bears, but that goes with every food source as well. With 119 grizzlies roaming the Tatlayoko Valley, black bears are always wary and alert. Protective sow grizzlies have been known to kill black bears on sight in order to ensure their cubs' survival. Boar grizzlies kill and eat adult black bears if they cannot run them out of desired territory. Being the second-tier predator, black bears here have to consider any food source they come across. On July 14, 1996, 53-year-old cattle rancher Sven Sadre was doing what he loved, taking care of his ranch. On top of the regular chores of herd maintenance and vet visits, Sven had to involve himself with his cattle herd in the open rangelands. This involved saddling up his horse and riding for miles through the brush and forests, ensuring his fences were intact. As Sven led his horse through the trees, he searched out his herd and examined the range for anything that might be harmful to them. His horse was a great way to navigate the tough territory and allowed him to see his surroundings clearly. Sven would stop periodically and make repairs to fences and continue on his way afterward. He and his horse walked the trails, unaware they were being followed by a dangerous visitor with deadly intentions. Back at the ranch, several hours had passed and Sven hadn't returned. His family grew concerned and notified authorities of his absence. His rangeland was known, and that is where they anticipated he would be. There are many things that can happen when riding a horse, and even Sven wasn't immune to those risks. Hoping his horse may have come up lame, or he'd found one of his cattle injured, they launched a search party to find him the next morning. They picked up Sven's horse tracks and followed them into the rangeland, but soon noticed an alarming set of tracks merging with Sven's. The indelible tracks of a very large black bear paralleled Sven's horse tracks, then converged with them. The bear's tracks were over his horse tracks, proving that the bear was following them, and not simply using the trail before them. The searchers continued to follow Sven's horse tracks for nearly a half-mile, before a large black bear charged them from the brush, then peeled off and disappeared. Hoping the bear was only surprised, they waited to see if it had fled. The bear had circled around and was now chuffing and growling at them from the brush, indicating it was defending something. There were no cubs scampering up trees, so what the bear was protecting became an alarming concern. As they examined the brush, they could see the bear standing near a cache of some sort. Due to the bear's aggressive behavior and the fact that Sven was missing, they shot that bear so they could continue with their search. Having dispatched the bear, searchers approached the cache site. Beneath the debris and sticks, they could see Sven's corpse. It had been partially consumed. Now aware that they had a human fatality on their hands, they cordoned off the area to preserve the evidence until investigators arrived. The forensics team used the track evidence to help them understand what had transpired that led to Sven's death and consumption. They could see the bear's tracks had closed to within a few yards after following the horse for a half-mile. As the bear burst from the brush, Sven's horse spun to the left and his saddle rolled on the horse's back. This dumped Sven off the other side and exposed him to the predator. Based on the evidence at Sven's attack site, investigators estimate that he managed to fend the bear off for only about 10 seconds before being subdued. The only weapon found near Sven was his axe, which was lying on the ground a few feet from his corpse. Sven's remains were gathered and transported to the coroner for analysis. The bear's carcass was also taken to a laboratory for a necropsy. The bear was found to be a large male in perfect health, and its stomach contained Sven's flesh. Regarding Sven's horse, there isn't any source indicating it was killed by the bear. I assume that it had escaped after the bear attacked Sven. Given the details presented, it must have been found with Sven's saddle askew, providing the reason the cowboy was knocked or thrown from it. But does that indicate he was thrown from his horse? In all of Canada, 380,000 black bears roam, with 120,000 to 150,000 of them in British Columbia. Nearly all of British Columbia is considered bear country, given this high population and dispersion. Between 1960 and 2014, 109 black bear attacks were reported in Canada, resulting in only 20 human fatalities. In the year 2022 alone, there were 26 bear attacks reported in Canada. Given bears are hibernating for about 5 months out of the year, it averages out to a little less than 4 attacks each month. It's not surprising that the bear that had killed Sven was a male. The statistics indicate that 88% of human fatalities due to bear attack are from bears exhibiting predatory behavior as opposed to defensive behavior. Of those attacks, 92% of the predatory bears were males, with 66% of those bears being adults. The conclusion of this analysis is that adult male black bears are about 90 times more likely to target humans as prey than sows. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. Why are male bears more likely than female bears to predate on people? Given boars are more territorial, could they be defending their turf from a perceived invader? Would a firearm have made any difference in Sven's attack, or did his ambush happen too quickly to be prevented? Do you think the bear attacked Sven while he was on horseback, or was he thrown off beforehand? I'll gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so please post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it.
Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.